Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today we're tackling a topic that's sure to get people talking.
We're going to be dissecting this book called The Science of Shit Testing.
So right off the bat, the title's a little provocative, right? But from what I've gathered, it's all about understanding how women use these subtle challenges, these tests, to assess a man's suitability as a partner.
The book argues that these tests are rooted in evolutionary psychology.
Right.
Women are biologically wired to seek out partners who can provide and protect.
So are we talking about like the classic gold digger stereotype?
Not exact. The book presents a more nuanced view. It talks about how things like social status, ambition, and resources can signal a man's ability to provide security not just financially, but emotionally and physically too.
So it's like those qualities that demonstrate a man's ability to be a good provider and protector, not just in the traditional sense, but in a modern context as well.
Precisely. And one of the most intriguing things the book brings up is this idea of female choice. The power women have in selecting their mates. It's like this fundamental force that shapes dating dynamic.
Okay, so we're talking about power dynamics in dating.
Yeah.
And the book seems to suggest that women hold a lot of that power through their ability to choose.
Exact. And the book dives into how this power of choice has been influenced by societal changes over time.
I'm curious to see where they go with this. So we've got this idea of shit testing rooted in evolutionary psychology, female choice, influencing the dating landscape. Where does the book go from there?
Well, the book delves into some pretty interesting examples of these so-called shit tests. It talks about how women might use things like late-night texts, questions about your ambitions, or even playful teasing as ways to assess your character.
So like those little things that might seem insignificant on the surface are actually loaded with meaning. It's like a secret code women are using.
In a way, yes. And the book argues that men who can decipher this code, who can respond to these tests with confidence and emotional intelligence, are more likely to succeed in attracting and maintaining healthy relationships.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not about getting defensive or taking the bait. It's about understanding the underlying message and responding in a way that shows you're emotionally mature and secure.
Exact. The book emphasizes that reacting impulsively or with anger will usually backfire. It's about demonstrating that you're not easily rattled and that you can handle a challenge with grace.
That makes sense. It's like showing that you're not going to get triggered by every little thing and that you can stay calm under pressure.
Precisely. The book even goes so far as to suggest that successfully navigating these tests can actually increase a woman's attraction to you.
So it's like a way of proving your worth as a partner by showing that you can handle her challenges with maturity and understanding.
Now the book dives into some fascinating research on the role of testosterone in male attractiveness. It's that hormone that's often associated with masculinity and dominance.
Right? So it's like the classic alpha male stereotype.
Well, the book acknowledges that testosterone does play a role in attraction, but it also cautions against the idea that more testosterone automatically equals more attractiveness. It actually suggests that too much testosterone can lead to aggression and instability, which can be detrimental to a relationship.
So it's like there's a sweet spot, a healthy balance of testosterone that signals strength and confidence without tipping over into aggression.
The book actually uses some pretty interesting examples to illustrate this point. It talks about how figures like Donald Trump and Mike Tyson, who are often seen as embodying that hyper-masculine archetype, have had tumultuous relationship histories.
I see what you mean. So it's not just about being the biggest, toughest guy in the room. It's about having a balance of qualities that make you a good partner.
Exactly. The book emphasizes that emotional intelligence, empathy, and the ability to build strong, healthy relationships are just as important as physical strength and dominance.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between those traditional masculine traits and the qualities that make for a truly great partner.
Now let's talk about decoding these shit tests. The book gives some specific examples that men might encounter in the dating world.
I'm all ears. Give me the inside scoop.
One example is the classic late-night text. The one that comes in at like 2 a.m. asking if you're up.
No, I've definitely been on the receiving end of those.
The book suggests that this could be a way for a woman to test your availability and willingness to put her needs first, even at an inconvenient hour.
So it's like she's gauging your level of interest and seeing if you'll go out of your way for her.
Exactly. Now, another example is the question about your ambitions. Like when she asks you about your 5-year plan or what you're passionate about.
I've definitely been asked that one too. It can feel a bit like a job interview.
The book argues that this is a way for a woman to drive your ambition and your potential for success. It's about seeing if you're someone who's going places in life.
It makes sense. It's like she's trying to gauge your level of motivation and see if you're someone who's going to stagnate or if you're constantly striving to improve yourself.
Precisely.
Right.
And the book stresses that the way you answer these questions is just as important as the content of your response. It's about conveying confidence, enthusiasm, and a genuine passion for life.
So it's not just about rattling off a list of accomplishments, but showing that you're excited about your future and that you have a clear vision for where you're headed.
Exactly. Now, another common shit test involves playful teasing or even subtle insults.
Oh, like those little jabs that can be either endearing or infuriating, depending on how they're delivered.
Exactly. The book suggests that this could be a way for a woman to test your sense of humor, your confidence, and your ability to take a joke.
So it's like she's seeing if you'll get defensive or if you can laugh it off and even dish it back in a playful way.
Precisely. The book emphasizes that the key is to respond with wit and charm without taking yourself too seriously.
It's about showing that you're not easily rattled and that you have a good sense of humor.
Exactly. The book gives a great example. Imagine a woman teases you about your taste in music. A confident man might respond with something like, "Hey, at least I have good taste in women." It's about turning it around in a playful way that shows you're not threatened by her teasing.
It's like a verbal sparring match, where the goal is to create that playful tension and flirtatious banter.
Exactly. Now, the book also delves into the concept of frame control, which is a pretty interesting idea. It's basically about who's leading the interaction, who's setting the tone, and who's ultimately in charge.
So are we talking about dominance here? Like, who's the alpha in the relationship?
It's not necessarily about dominance in a negative sense. It's more about confidence and assertiveness. The book argues that men who can maintain control of the frame, who can lead the interaction and make decisions without being swayed by a woman's tests, are seen as more attractive.
So it's about having that inner strength and conviction that makes you seem like a leader, not a follower.
Exactly. The book suggests that men who are constantly seeking approval or validation are less likely to maintain control of the frame.
So it's not about being a pushover. It's about knowing what you want and being comfortable taking the lead.
Precisely. The book gives an interesting example. Imagine a couple is deciding where to go for dinner. A man who's in control of the frame might suggest a restaurant he's excited about without being swayed by his partner's indecisiveness or attempts to change his mind.
It's about having a clear vision and being comfortable making decisions.
Exactly. Now, one of the most important takeaways from the book is the emphasis on emotional intelligence.
I could definitely see how that plays a role. It's about being able to read between the lines, understand the emotions at play, and respond in a way that's both authentic and sensitive.
Precisely. The book argues that emotional intelligence is crucial for navigating these shit tests successfully. It's about being aware of your own emotions as well as the emotions of the woman you're interacting with.
So it's about being in tune with yourself and with the other person. It's about that sensitivity and that awareness.
Exactly. The book provides some practical tips for developing emotional intelligence, such as practicing active listening, learning to identify and manage your own emotions, and even seeking feedback from others on how you come across.
So it's a skill that can be developed and honed. It's not just something you're born with.
Exactly. And the book argues that the more emotionally intelligent you are, the better equipped you'll be to handle those challenges and build strong, healthy relationships.
It's about understanding that relationships aren't always smooth sailing, and that being able to navigate those choppy waters with grace and empathy is key to success.
Now, the book also touches upon this idea of pre-selection, which is a pretty interesting concept. It's basically about how women are more attracted to men who are already perceived as desirable by other women.
So it's like that old saying, nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. If other women are interested in you, it makes you seem more valuable.
Exactly. The book argues that pre-selection is rooted in our evolutionary past. It's like a shortcut for women to assess a man's worthiness as a mate. If he's already been vetted by other women, it signals that he possesses desirable qualities.
So how does a man actually cultivate that sense of pre-selection?
Well, the book suggests that it's about building a strong social circle, surrounding yourself with attractive women, and generally exuding that aura of desirability.
So it's not about bragging or showing off. It's about genuinely being a guy that people want to be around.
Exactly. The book emphasizes that authenticity is key. If you're trying too hard to appear desirable, it will usually backfire.
It's like that saying, be yourself, everyone else is already taken.
Now let's talk about a topic that's often shrouded in mystery, the female mind. The book delves into some of the psychological differences between men and women, exploring how these differences can affect relationships.
This is where things can get a little tricky, right? It's like trying to navigate a minefield of gender stereotypes.
Well, the book approaches this topic with a lot of sensitivity. It acknowledges that there are individual differences within each gender, but it also argues that there are some fundamental psychological differences that can influence how men and women interact.
So it's not about saying that all women are the same or all men are the same. It's about recognizing that there are some general patterns that can help us understand each other better.
Exactly. For example, the book discusses how women tend to be more emotionally expressive than men. They're more likely to talk about their feelings and to seek emotional support from others.
And men are often stereotyped as being more stoic and less likely to open up about their emotions.
Exactly. And the book suggests that this difference in emotional expressiveness can sometimes lead to misunderstandings in relationships. A woman might feel like her partner isn't listening to her or taking her feelings seriously when in reality he's just processing things differently.
So it's about understanding that men and women might communicate their emotions in different ways, and that it's important to be patient and understanding.
Exactly. The book encourages men to practice active listening, to validate their partner's feelings, and to be willing to open up about their own emotions, even if it feels uncomfortable.
So it's about creating that safe space where both partners feel comfortable expressing themselves.
Now, another interesting difference the book discusses is how men and women tend to approach conflict differently.
Oh, this is one that I can definitely relate to. It's like we speak different languages when it comes to arguing.
The book suggests that men are often more solution-oriented when it comes to conflict. They want to fix the problem and move on, whereas women might want to talk about their feelings and process the situation before finding a solution.
So it's like men are looking for the quick fix while women want to delve into the emotional nuances of the situation.
Precisely. And the book encourages men to be patient, to listen to their partner's perspective, and to recognize that sometimes the solution involves simply providing emotional support rather than trying to fix the problem immediately.
It's about understanding that sometimes the best way to resolve a conflict is simply be there for your partner and listen to them.
Now, the book also touches upon the concept of emotional labor, which is a term that's been gaining a lot of attention in recent years. It's basically about the work that goes into managing emotions, both our own and the emotions of others.
So it's like the mental and emotional effort that we put into relationships.
Exactly. And the book argues that women often bear a disproportionate share of emotional labor in relationships. They're often the ones who are expected to be the caregivers, the nurturers, and the emotional support system.
So it's like an invisible workload that often falls on women's shoulders.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And the book encourages men to be more aware of this emotional labor and to take on a more equal share of the
So
responsibility.
it's about being more proactive in providing emotional support, being more attuned to your partner's needs, and being willing to step up and do your part.
Exactly. The book suggests that men can do this by practicing active listening, validating their partner's feelings, and being willing to help out with tasks that might traditionally be seen as women's work.
So it's about challenging those traditional gender roles and being a true partner in every sense of the word.
Now, the book also dives into this idea of paternity anxiety, that nagging feeling a man might have about whether a child is really his. It's interesting how the book connects this anxiety to our evolutionary past. Like way back when, men needed to be absolutely sure they were investing resources in their own offspring. It makes sense in that context.
So it's not about being controlling or jealous. It's like a deeper instinctual thing.
The book suggests that some behaviors that might seem impulsive, like late-night hookups, could be a subconscious way for men to guard against being cuckolded.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But doesn't the book also say that letting this anxiety run wild can be a problem?
Oh, absolutely. It stresses that unchecked anxiety can poison a relationship. All that suspicion and distrust. The key is finding that balance. Acknowledge those feelings, but don't let them control you.
So open communication and building trust with your partner are crucial.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And this brings us back to emotional intelligence. Being able to talk about these anxieties in a healthy way can be huge for the relationship.
It makes sense. Bottling up these feelings isn't going to help
The
anyone.
book actually suggests that addressing these anxieties head on with honesty and vulnerability can actually strengthen a relationship.
It's like turning a potential weakness into a strength.
Right. The book then goes into this fascinating interplay between traditional masculinity, what it calls machismo, and emotional intelligence.
So you're saying men need to up their emotional game too?
It's more about finding a balance. The book acknowledges the appeal of the strong, assertive macho man, but it argues that this archetype needs to evolve.
So don't ditch the machismo altogether, just add a dash of emotional intelligence.
The book argues that this balance is key to attracting and maintaining a healthy relationship.
Okay, I'm following you. Now, how does that actually play out in real life?
The book gives a great example. Imagine a couple trying to decide on a restaurant. The man, using his assertive side, suggests a place he's excited about. But he also listens to his partner's concerns, and ultimately they find a solution that works for both of them.
So he's leading, but he's not dictating. It's more of a collaborative approach to decision making.
Exactly. The book seems to be suggesting that true strength lies in being able to assert yourself when necessary, but also being in tune with your partner's needs and emotions.
It's about being a leader who can also be a supportive partner.
Exactly. Now let's talk about humor, something we can all relate to. The book actually argues that humor in a relationship isn't just about being funny, but about creating connection and building intimacy.
I can see that humor can be such a powerful tool for diffusing tension and making people feel comfortable.
It gives examples of how self-deprecating humor can be disarming and make you more relatable, and how observational humor can create a shared experience and spark conversation.
So it's not about being a stand-up comedian, but using humor to connect with people on a human level.
Speaking of connecting, the book also stresses the importance of shared interests in relationships. It argues that they're crucial for building a sense of unity and connection.
It gives you something to bond over, something to talk about, something to do together.
Right. It even argues that shared interests can increase intimacy and sexual attraction as they provide opportunities for touch and emotional connection.
It's not just about romantic relationships either. Shared interests are important for friendships too. They give you that common ground.
The book provides examples of couples who bond over shared hobbies, sports, and even travel experiences, arguing that these shared passions help to create lasting memories and strengthen the relationship.
When you have things in common, it gives you something to build on.
Now let's move on to a potentially sensitive topic, the idea of mate value and how it relates to social status and resources.
Okay, this sounds like we're getting into some potentially controversial territory. Is the book saying that all women are gold diggers?
No, not at all. It's presenting this concept of mate value as something rooted in evolutionary biology. The book argues that men with higher social status and resources are often seen as more desirable partners because it signals their ability to provide and protect.
So it's like that age-old idea of women being drawn to men who can provide for them.
The book doesn't oversimplify this, though. It stresses that financial stability, ambition, and a willingness to invest in personal growth are all key factors in attracting women.
So it's not about flashing your cash, but showing that you're responsible, driven, and capable of building a secure future.
Precisely. And the book even argues that expanding your social circle can boost your mate value as it demonstrates your social intelligence and ability to connect with others.
So it's not just about what you have, but who you know and how you interact with the world.
Now let's talk about how technology has changed the game, especially with social media and dating apps.
Yeah, it's both exciting and overwhelming at the same time.
The book acknowledges both the pros and cons of online dating. It provides access to a wider pool of potential partners and makes it easier to connect with people who share your interests.
You can literally swipe right on someone who lives halfway across the world.
But there's a catch. The book also cautions against getting lost in the endless stream of profiles and neglecting the importance of genuine face-to-face interaction.
It's easy to get so caught up in the virtual world that you forget about the real world.
The book emphasizes the importance of using online dating as a tool to meet people, but not letting it replace the need for real-world connections.
It's all about striking a balance.
Exactly. And even in the digital age, communication and emotional intelligence are still key. The book argues that the ability to express yourself clearly and connect with others on an emotional level is more crucial than ever.
So it's not just about crafting the perfect profile, but knowing how to communicate and build rapport online.
Right, it's like a whole new set of social skills that we need to master. The book even offers advice on how to navigate the nuances of online communication, from writing engaging messages to choosing the right photos.
Okay, now let's talk about another potentially sensitive topic, hypergamy. The book defines it as women's tendency to seek out partners who are of higher status or resources than themselves. So is this book saying that all women are gold diggers?
Not at all. It frames hypergamy as something that's deeply rooted in our evolutionary past. From a biological standpoint, women are drawn to partners who can provide security and resources. It's about survival, not superficiality.
So it's not just about what a man has, but who he is and what he's capable of achieving.
Exactly. And the book encourages men to see hypergamy not as a threat, but as a challenge. It argues that by focusing on personal growth and development, men can become more attractive partners.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not trying to game the system.
Now let's shift gears and talk about emotional support, which is a crucial aspect of any healthy relationship.
Absolutely. It's about being there for your partner, listening to them, and validating their feelings.
The book provides practical tips on how to offer emotional support, from active listening to expressing empathy.
It's about being a partner, not just a lover.
Now let's talk about boundaries, something that's crucial for a healthy sense of self and preventing resentment.
Boundaries are all about respecting yourself and your partner's need for space and autonomy.
The book provides real-life examples of couples who struggle with boundary issues, highlighting the importance of communication and compromise.
It's about finding that sweet spot where both partners feel respected and valued.
Now, switching gears again, let's talk about personal growth. It's not just about attracting partners, but about becoming the best version of yourself.
So important. It's about constantly learning, evolving, and expanding our horizons.
The book provides inspiring examples of successful individuals like Matthew McConaughey and Elon Musk who prioritize personal growth.
It's about setting goals, challenging yourself, and never settling for mediocrity.
The book also highlights the importance of emotional resilience, which is essential for navigating life's ups and downs.
Emotional resilience is like having a shield. It's what helps us bounce back from setbacks.
Exactly. The book provides practical tips on how to cultivate emotional resilience, from setting realistic goals to building a strong support network.
It's about developing coping mechanisms, learning from our mistakes, and never giving up on ourselves.
And along with resilience comes self-reflection. The book emphasizes its importance for personal growth.
It's like taking a step back and looking at ourselves from an outside perspective.
The book encourages readers to keep a journal, seek therapy, or practice meditation as ways to cultivate self-awareness.
It's about taking the time to understand ourselves so we can better understand our relationships.
And hand in hand with self-reflection, the book stresses the importance of maintaining a positive attitude and using humor.
A positive attitude can be so contagious. It can lift your own spirits and the spirits of those around you.
The book argues that humor can help us cope with stress, build rapport, and strengthen relationships.
It's about finding the light in the darkness.
And when it comes to relationships, setting clear expectations and goals is crucial.
Setting expectations is about being upfront about what you want and need. It's about communicating your values and goals.
The book encourages couples to have open and honest conversations about their expectations.
It's about making sure you're both heading in the same direction.
And of course, compromise and flexibility are key. The book argues that no two people are perfectly compatible.
Compromise is about finding solutions that work for both partners.
Right. The book provides examples of couples who successfully navigate compromise, highlighting the importance of communication and empathy.
It's about finding that sweet spot where both partners feel heard and respected.
And this leads to another important point, being proactive. The book argues that taking initiative can go a long way.
Proactivity is about being the one to plan dates, suggest activities, and initiate conversations.
The book provides examples of men who go above and beyond to make their partners feel special.
It's about showing your partner that you care.
And along with effort comes appreciation. The book highlights the importance of expressing gratitude.
Appreciation is about noticing the good things your partner does.
Right. The book encourages couples to make a habit of expressing appreciation.
It's about making your partner feel valued and loved.
And just as important as expressing appreciation is the ability to forgive. The book stresses how holding on to grudges can poison the connection.
Forgiveness is about letting go of anger and resentment.
It acknowledges that forgiveness can be difficult, but argues that it's essential for the long-term health of the relationship.
It's about choosing to heal and move forward together.
The book also emphasizes the importance of shared values and goals. It argues that couples who are aligned in these areas are more likely to have a strong connection.
Shared values are about the things that are most important to you.
The book encourages couples to discuss their values and goals early on.
It's about building a foundation of shared beliefs and aspirations.
And within that shared foundation, it's important to maintain a sense of individuality.
Individuality is about maintaining your own sense of self.
The book encourages couples to support each other's individual pursuits.
It's about being two whole individuals who choose to come together.
Now the book stresses the importance of physical intimacy and affection, arguing that these expressions of love can strengthen the bond.
It's about touch, closeness, and nonverbal expressions of love.
The book encourages couples to prioritize physical affection.
It's about reminding each other that you're physically and emotionally present.
And of course, let's not forget about sex. The book acknowledges the challenges of maintaining a healthy sex life.
It's no secret that sex can become routine over time.
The book encourages couples to talk openly about their needs and desires.
It's about making time for each other.
Now, conflict is inevitable in any relationship.
Conflict is a natural part of any relationship. It's how you handle it that matters.
The book provides practical tips on how to communicate effectively during conflict.
It's about finding solutions that work for both partners.
And when you're in the wrong, own up to it. The book encourages men to take responsibility for their actions and apologize when necessary.
Taking responsibility is about owning your mistakes and making amends.
The book argues that apologizing sincerely can go a long way in repairing trust.
It's about showing your partner that you care about their feelings.
Now, sometimes you need a little outside help. The book stresses the importance of seeking professional help when necessary.
Therapy can provide a safe space to talk about sensitive issues.
The book encourages couples to view therapy as a sign of strength.
It's about being willing to invest in the health of the relationship.
And sometimes, despite your best efforts, not all relationships are meant to last.
Ending a relationship is never easy.
The book encourages readers to be honest with themselves about their needs.
It's about knowing when to let go and move on.
And this is where self-care comes in. The book emphasizes the importance of personal well-being.
Self-care is about prioritizing your physical, emotional, and mental health.
The book encourages readers to engage in activities that bring them joy.
It's about filling your own cup so you have something to give to others.
Now, the book also encourages men to be mindful of their appearance and grooming.
Taking care of your appearance is about showing respect for yourself.
The book provides practical tips on grooming.
It's about putting your best foot forward.
Now, the book also discusses the importance of chivalry and gentlemanly behavior.
Chivalry is about being respectful, courteous, and thoughtful.
The book provides examples of chivalrous gestures.
It's about showing your partner that you care.
The book also encourages men to be confident and assertive.
Confidence is about believing in yourself.
The book provides tips on how to boost your confidence.
It's about projecting an air of self-assuredness.
Now, being a good listener and communicator is crucial.
Listening is about paying attention to what your partner is saying.
The book encourages readers to practice active listening techniques.
It's about showing your partner that you're truly engaged.
And along with listening comes honesty.
Honesty is about being upfront and truthful.
The book argues that transparency is about sharing your thoughts and feelings openly.
It's about creating a safe space.
And it's not just about the words we say, but how we say them.
Nonverbal communication is about the messages we send through our body language.
The book provides tips on how to use nonverbal communication effectively.
It's about being aware of the messages you're sending.
And above all, respect is paramount.
Respect is about treating others with dignity and consideration.
The book provides examples of behaviors that can be disrespectful.
It's about being mindful of your actions.
And along with respect comes support.
Support is about being there for your partner.
The book encourages men to listen to their partner's concerns.
It's about being a cheerleader, a confidant, and a teammate.
Now, a sense of humor can be a real asset.
Humor can be such a powerful tool for connecting with others.
The book provides examples of how to use humor effectively.
It's about finding the joy in everyday moments.
And just as important as humor is patience.
Patience is about being able to tolerate delays or difficulties without becoming frustrated or angry.
Right. It's about understanding that your partner isn't perfect because no one is. The book talks about being able to see things from their perspective, even if you don't always agree with them.
It's about giving each other a little breathing room and acknowledging that we all make mistakes.
Now, remember how we talked about communication earlier? Well, the book circles back to it to emphasize just how crucial it is for building trust and resolving those inevitable conflicts.
Communication is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. It's about being able to express your thoughts and feelings, clearly really listening to your partner, and then working together to find solutions.
The book actually gives some really practical tips on how to improve your communication skills. It talks about things like active listening, and using I statements to express your feelings in a way that doesn't put your partner on the defensive.
It's about creating that safe space where both of you feel heard and understood.
And it's not just about communication in general, but also about setting those clear boundaries. The book dives into how important that is for maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship.
Boundaries are all about respecting yourself and respecting your partner's need for space and autonomy.
The book uses real-life examples of couples who are struggling with boundary issues, and it emphasizes that communication and compromise are key for finding a balance.
You know, that place where both partners feel respected and valued.
Now, shifting gears again, the book reminds us that emotional support and empathy are really the hallmarks of a successful partnership. It suggests that men who can provide these qualities are likely to have stronger relationships.
Emotional support is about being there for your partner through thick and thin, listening to them and validating their feelings.
It's not always easy, but the book gives some concrete tips on how to offer that support. Everything from practicing active listening to really trying to understand and express empathy for what your partner is going through.
And it's amazing how the book uses pop culture examples to illustrate this concept. Like, remember that scene in Pretty Woman where Richard Gere's character finally listens to Julia Roberts and helps her feel safe and understood? That's the power of emotional support.
It's about being a true partner, not just someone who's there for the good times.
Speaking of being a true partner, let's circle back to the idea of personal boundaries for a minute. The book dives deep into their importance, emphasizing that they're absolutely essential for maintaining a healthy sense of self and preventing resentment from building up.
Boundaries are all about respecting yourself and your partner's need for space and autonomy.
And it's not always easy to figure this out. The book gives some great real-life examples of couples who are struggling with boundary issues, and it emphasizes that communication and compromise are key for finding a balance.
It's about finding that sweet spot where both partners feel respected and valued.
Now let's talk about personal growth for a minute. The book stresses how important it is not just for attracting partners, but for becoming the best version of yourself. And it's a journey that never really ends.
Personal growth is so important for every aspect of our lives. It's about always learning, growing, evolving, and expanding our horizons.
The book highlights some really inspiring figures like Matthew McConaughey and Elon Musk, who've made personal growth a priority and use it to fuel their success.
It's about setting those ambitious goals, challenging yourself, and refusing to settle for mediocrity.
And while you're pushing yourself to grow, it's also essential to build up that emotional resilience. The book talks about how important that is for navigating the inevitable ups and downs that life throws at us, especially within relationships.
Think of emotional resilience as your armor. It's what helps you bounce back from setbacks and keeps you moving forward no matter what.
The book is full of practical tips for building up that resilience, everything from setting realistic goals to creating a strong support network.
It's about developing those healthy coping mechanisms, learning from your mistakes, and never giving up on yourself.
And while you're working on your resilience, it's crucial to take some time for self-reflection. The book dives deep into its importance for understanding your own thoughts, feelings, and motivations.
Self-reflection can be a little uncomfortable, but it's like holding up a mirror to yourself. It's essential for growth.
The book encourages readers to explore different avenues for self-reflection, like keeping a journal, seeking therapy, or even trying meditation as ways to cultivate self-awareness and foster personal growth.
It's about dedicating time to really understand yourself so you can build stronger, healthier relationships.
And along with all that introspection, don't forget to nurture a positive attitude and embrace humor. The book stresses their importance as tools for connection and resilience.
A positive attitude can be incredibly contagious. It can lift your own spirits and the spirits of those around you, and humor can be such a powerful force for good.
The book argues that humor can help us cope with stress, build deeper connections, and strengthen relationships. It's about finding the light even in the darkest moments and not taking ourselves too seriously.
Now, the book also emphasizes the importance of being mindful of your appearance and grooming. It suggests that taking pride in your appearance can boost your confidence and make you more attractive to potential partners.
You know, it's funny how something as simple as taking care of your appearance can have such a big impact. It's about showing respect for yourself and for those around you.
The book gives some practical grooming tips, from choosing clothes that fit well to just maintaining good hygiene.
It's about putting your best foot forward and making a good first impression.
Now, chivalry might seem a little old-fashioned, but the book argues that gentlemanly behavior is still very much appreciated by many women.
Chivalry is about being respectful, courteous, and just generally thoughtful. It's about those little gestures that show you care.
The book gives examples of chivalrous acts, like holding doors open, offering your coat on a chilly evening, or simply being mindful of your manner.
It's about going the extra mile and showing your partner that you're thinking of them.
Now, speaking of making an impression, confidence is key. The book encourages men to be confident and assertive in their interactions with women. It argues that these qualities are attractive and can help you stand out from the crowd.
Confidence isn't about being arrogant. It's about believing in yourself and your ability. It's about that inner strength and self-assurance.
The book offers tips on how to build up your confidence, everything from setting achievable goals to practicing positive self-talk.
It's about projecting that sense of self-assuredness and knowing your own worth.
Now, listening is one of the most valuable skills you can bring to any relationship. The book talks about how being a good listener and communicator is essential for building that rapport and maintaining a strong connection.
It's true. Listening isn't just about hearing the word. It's about really paying attention to what your partner is saying, both verbally and non-verbally. It's about making them feel heard and understood.
The book suggests practicing active listening techniques like making eye contact, asking clarifying questions, and summarizing what you've heard to make sure you're on the same page.
It's about showing your partner that you're fully engaged and that you genuinely care about their thoughts and feelings.
Now, hand in hand with listening comes honesty. The book dives into how crucial it is for men to be honest and transparent in their communication. It's about building trust and preventing those unnecessary misunderstandings.
Honesty is about being upfront and truthful, even when it's difficult. It's about having the courage to be vulnerable and authentic.
The book encourages being open about your thoughts and feelings, even if it means stepping outside your comfort zone. It's about creating that safe space for both of you to be yourselves.
It's interesting how the book also highlights the importance of nonverbal communication. You know those subtle cues we send through our body language and tone of voice? It's about being aware of those unspoken messages.
Our nonverbal communication can speak volumes sometimes. The book offers tips on how to use it effectively, like making eye contact and maintaining an open, relaxed posture.
It's about making sure your actions are lining up with your words.
Now, above all, respect is paramount. The book encourages men to be respectful of women's boundaries and to never make assumptions about their intentions or desires.
Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. It's about treating others with dignity and consideration, regardless of their gender or background.
The book gives examples of disrespectful behavior, like interrupting someone touching without consent or making inappropriate comment. It's about being mindful of your actions and always treating your partner with the respect they deserve. The book also emphasizes the importance of setting realistic expectations in relationships. It cautions against falling into the trap of comparing your relationship to those idealized versions we see in movies or on social media.
It's so easy to get caught up in those unrealistic portrayals of perfect relationships. Like everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses, even when it comes to love.
Exactly. The book encourages us to focus on building a relationship that's authentic and fulfilling for both partners rather than trying to live up to some impossible standard.
It's about finding happiness in the reality of your own relationship, not chasing some fantasy.
So, to wrap things up, the book suggests that while those shit tests can be frustrating, they actually serve a purpose.
It's like they're a way for women to figure out if a man is truly a good match for them.
The book argues that by understanding the psychology behind these tests and responding with emotional intelligence, men can not only navigate them successfully, but actually use them as opportunities to strengthen their relationships.
So it's not about seeing these tests as some kind of battle, but as a chance to grow and deepen your understanding of each other.
That's the key takeaway. The book encourages men to approach relationships with a mix of confidence, empathy, and a willingness to learn and grow both individually and together.
It's about being the best version of yourself and finding a partner who appreciates you for who you truly are.
And if you're interested in learning more about this fascinating topic, you can find the book, The Science of Shit Testing, on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books.
This deep dive has been quite a journey. We've explored some thought-provoking and, at times, controversial ideas about the dynamics between men and women.
It's important to remember that no one book has all the answers. But by engaging with these ideas, even the ones that challenge us, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationships.
Absolutely. And we encourage you to continue exploring your own path to building healthy, fulfilling relationships armed with the knowledge and insights you've gained today.